Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. How great to see everybody here. I trust you enjoyed my last video on the jam, and through this song, Town Like Malice, we looked at the concept of home and growing up and our connection with home. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going from there to 1939 in Belfast. Now, this guy is being dubbed the man with the golden flute. So we're talking about one of the best flute players in the world. He has sold 30 million albums, this guy. So very, very significant in the scheme of things for someone who can't sing. In fact, he's from a musical family. His dad played the flute and his mum played the piano. But at the age of 9, he joined the fife and drum corps, and there he learned discipline and playing well. There's nothing like playing with others to actually tune your musical ability. The guy we're talking about is James Galway. Now, James, at the age of 11, thought, well, I wonder what I'm really like. So he joined the Belfast Flute Championships, where he took out the junior, the senior, and the open categories in that particular competition. So we have the best flute player in Belfast. At the age of 14, he actually left school. He thought, well, yeah, school, whatever. And so he thought, well, perhaps I could do something musical. Perhaps I could become an apprentice piano tuner. So he did that for a little while. But he thought, nah, I'm going to start auditioning to study. And he did so. And he ended up getting into the Royal College of Music. Now, you just don't sort of sign a bit of a form and say, enroll me. No. You've got to audition, and you've got to audition well. You've got to show passion, discipline, understanding, everything. But he did get accepted into the Royal College of Music. It was pretty cool. And then he also studied in Paris. So it was only a matter of time before James was going to get asked to play in some orchestras, which is obviously, if you think about, I'm going to be a flute player, well, orchestra is going to be where I'm going to go because I enjoy classical more than anything else. So he played for such orchestras as the Covent Garden Orchestra, the London Symphony Orchestra, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. So there's some pretty big orchestras right there. He also auditioned and became pretty high up in the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. And so this guy was really truly being acknowledged in Europe as one of the best flute players going around. He did the whole orchestra thing for around 15 years. He thought, no, I want to do a bit more. I just want to do more than classical too. And so at that point he decided, hey, I'm going to go on a bit of a solo career. Now, I think it's this aspect of Jane's story that I want to look at a little bit more. You know, how do you decide this? Like, at one minute you're in an orchestra, you're playing really well, you know, one of the best in the world really at what you do. The orchestra loves you, you're probably being paid well and all the rest of it. And then you just kind of decide, no, I want to leave. What makes us decide to do that? Let's think about our own life for a second. You know, we might be in a job, you know, we kind of, it's all right. But we think, is there more to life than this? You know, can I do this thing on my own? There's been many people in Adelaide who have actually done this. They've actually were working for somebody else and they're working on their own, and all of a sudden they're actually successful. But certainly at the start there, it can be a bit of a risk, can't it? You know, what about annual leave? What about sick leave? What about money not coming in when we need to pay bills? All that sort of stuff. Well, I think you just have a bit of a general sense, don't you, that actually I'm ready for this next step. Now, I'm thinking with James, you know, obviously he would have had quite a few connections at this point, and I'm sure there was no shortage of perhaps recording opportunities being lined up for him, even perhaps before he went solo. I think, well, actually, if you do go solo, mate, we'll look after you. And just so you know, between 1975 and 1993, he's had 100 plus releases. And so, you know, this guy has been never far away from the recording studio, and it just, all you do is just walk in there with your flute, play a few notes, and you've got an album. So he would have had connections. I think that's one of the keys about going out on your own is you've got to have some established connections. Connections that just aren't like, oh, hey, how you going? They're actually robust, a little bit resilient, and will actually stand by you when they're needed. Because what do we need? We need customers, don't we? And to have customers, you've got to build up a bit of a rapport with them. And so wherever you are in your current, I suppose, professional life right now, if you're actually, you've gone out on your own, you've taken that risk and you're reaping the rewards. How cool, how amazing to do that. Steve Jobs, he got fired from Apple, as we know. And then while he got fired, well, he was actually confronted with this thing of, hey, look, I need to start again. He started Pixar in that period. And, who would have thought that, if he never got sacked from Apple, Pixar would have never started. Well, there we go. The opportunity, as he quotes, the heaviness of being successful was replaced by being light as a beginner again. And I think we all want to have that feeling of we are just wondering what's going to happen next, the adventure of it, the excitement of it. But we don't ever do that if we're going to stay in our boring 9-to-5 job. If we want to live a life and experience life a little bit, we might need to branch out for ourselves. As for me, I do work 4 days a week. I mentor young people, which is a pretty cool job. But I also do a bit of funeral celebrant work on the side, life memorial celebrant, I call myself. If you just Google Trevor Haley, you'll find me, Hayley. And every now and then, might get 2 or 3 a year. There's been a bit of a run lately I just get found and people give me a call, hey, look, can you help me out with this particular service? So it's really, really good to actually know that, you're initially doing this thing in your own right. You're not representing somebody, you're doing it yourself. And so, of course, it's a pretty exciting thing to be able to do when you get engaged. To be able to issue an invoice for someone is pretty cool, but to know that you've helped the family with your particular expertise. And I think the other thing to realise too is that you do have expertise. And what is business? Business is organised knowledge that will solve people's problems. People will pay to have their problems solved. I'm getting some curtains put in my windows soon. The curtains I've got currently aren't the best, so it's a problem being solved. If you have taken this step, really, really great. If you're thinking, oh, perhaps I might, well, go for it. Just assess the risks and everything beforehand. And for those of you who are not yet there or thinking about it, just let it resonate and percolate. What can you do on the side, something small at this point? As long as the employer doesn't mind, that's all good. Well, I thought let's continue on with the James Galway story. One of the best flute pieces, I think, in existence is Flight of the Bumblebee. So we've got a live version of that one below. I think there's nothing like this piece, which is just so furious and ferocious in its fingering. You can just picture this little guy, this little black and yellow guy, going from flower to flower, doing what bees do so well, bring colour and life to this world. And so we got to put in Flight of the Bumblebee, live version of that one. James Galway is not also ashamed to do, he also likes doing contemporary stuff as well. And this included in 1978, he did do a version of John Denver's Annie's song. Now we do know how amazing this particular song is. You fill up my senses like a night in the forest. And we know how John Denver connected with the forest. In fact, I'm going to be doing the Johns soon in this series, and there's quite a few of those ones. So we've actually got a live version of John and James together. John doing a bit of singing, James doing a bit of playing. Absolutely stunning to see the composer. And this particular, James's version went to number 3 in the chart. So pretty significant and successful song. We've got to have You Fill Up My Senses, Annie's song. He was also involved in Roger Waters' production of The Wall in 1990, and he was involved in the song Goodbye Blue Sky. We've got a live version from that particular performance. James was also part of the Lord of the Rings soundtrack trilogies. Now, that music actually won Oscars. I think in a lot of ways because of James's flute playing. So we've got a bit of a live version of James playing some of the songs from there. We then also got, and obviously any flute player who can play Danny Boy, as well as this guy can, you've got to put a live version of that one in there as well. Absolutely stunningly well played. Very, very difficult to play this one and pull it off because there's just so much expectation when you hear those first three notes. Interestingly, in 1977, James was actually run over by a motorbike. It was pretty bad actually. He broke his left arm and both of his legs, and he was in hospital for 4 months. And so certainly at the height of him going solo, that happened. So good on him for actually keeping on and rehabilitating himself. He's also got an eye condition that he's been dealing with most of his life as well, nystagmus. So, and is a patron of that particular association. So, you know, he has had some adversity, James, as well. Where are we? So in 1977, he received an OBE, so Order of the British Empire, pretty significant. That for someone that actually was really, his musical career started, well, let's have a think, around the 1960s. To have an OBE just some 15, 16, 17 years later, just after he went solo, is pretty cool. In 2008, he was inducted into the Hollywood Bowl Hall of Fame. And so that couple of pretty big acknowledgements from the UK and from the United States. And so this guy is pretty well regarded all around the world. As I said before, 30 million albums sold. And between 1975 and 1993, I was counting them up, there's just so many. 100 plus. Releases this guy's had, so he's been absolutely with us for quite a long time now. 75 to 93, that's just under 20 years, but he's still playing. And if you've done over 100 releases in that short period of time, what more do you need to do, really? So the links to those 5 clips from the description below, and I've also included my last video just something completely different, the Jam. So if you want to recap on them, feel free. Well, we've gone from synth pop to punk rock to instrumental today. Next time we're going to get on to Jewel, and she's sort of country rock, country folk kind of genre. Got an absolutely stunning voice, this girl. And so we're looking forward to catching up with her next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.